What's up guys, Maik Wiedenbach here, talking about one of the #1 gain killers ever, activation or lack thereof. What does that mean? Well, activation is what people get wrong because they just move weight. And the issue is that your body, my body, anybody's body does not understand bodybuilding, okay? So basically the body just wants to lift the weight from A to B, but it's your job, my job, whatever, to tell them which muscle to use. So as an example, if I'm to do a side raise, right? My body just thinks, okay, this has to go here. So why not use my traps, right? My traps are big, my medial delt is small. So if I don't create length in the target muscle and guide from the elbow, and I'm very focused that my shoulder stays down, it's not gonna work, okay? So I stretch my target muscle and then I use it up very, very controlled. And I make sure that none of this happens. So by the same token, the rear delt. So what I do is I flex my tricep, thereby I'm creating length in the rear delt, and now I can actually move it out, as opposed to doing this, which is my mid back. So I flex the antagonist, just like here, and then I move from here to here. Now, if you're supposed to do a tricep press down, a lot of times it's this. That's basically sort of a shoulder press dip kind of thing, okay? So what you want to do is, and I'm overdoing it a little bit, you almost flex your bicep, because if your bicep is flexed, that means your tricep is stretched by default. So doing this, and now you press down, okay? So as you can see, now I got full length. By the way, band press downs are awesome on the joints. Much, much easier than cables. So speaking of bicep, the same applies but in reverse. So you're flexing your tricep, thereby creating maximum length in the bicep. And now you're curling up without doing this. So you're not using anything but your target muscle. Flex and curl up. Let's go to the bigger ones. The lat pulldown. So in the lat pulldown, you're flexing your pec, right? If my pec is fully flexed, then by common logic, my lats are fully stretched. So if I go into the position like this, feet behind me, and now the critical thing is that I move my elbows first. So my shoulder blades, sorry, not my elbows. So the shoulder blades go down and I pull. If I move my elbows first, it becomes a bicep curl. So if I do this, I'm using my bicep. Okay, so where my bicep, even mine, is smaller than my lats. So my set will be substandard if I'm using the smaller muscle. So the same goes here. So the seated row, again, I'm pushing my arm away as if I'm basically doing a push-up or so, flexing my pecs. Now my lats are long. And now I use the shoulder blades go back and I pull, right? So squeeze my pecs almost, shoulder blades, and then the elbows. Again, if the first motion is not from the shoulder blades, we're doing a bicep curl. Now let's talk chest, because that's what everybody really wants to know. So the same principle applies, right? So you're going in and you're flexing your lat. Now my chest is stretched, and now what I'm doing is I'm using it in an inward intention to fully contract. If I do this, my shoulders take over. So in slow motion, I'm coming down, using my lats as a spring. And now I drive up, my shoulders staying down. If I roll my shoulders up, I'm doing a shoulder press. Speaking of a shoulder press, so here I also create length, and then I drive from the shoulders by having the thumbs down. The thumbs are like so, becomes more of a tricep press. Here, and I drive inward. And since I have those dumbbells, for those who actually train legs, let's say I'm doing a lunge, okay? For glutes. Falling forward, getting length into the glute by fully contracting the hamstrings, and then I come up. Sorry, the quads. So come up and drive, as opposed to falling over my foot. That is also true for the isolation exercises. It's actually quite a clever machine. So again, you're pulling the feet in, stretching the hamstrings, flexing the hamstrings, stretching the quads. Has been a long day. And now you're using your hands, hold yourself down, as opposed to doing this, which is like half hip flexor, half quads. And then if you do this for hamstrings, just switch it around. So if I'm here, I'm pulling in my toes, I flex my quads, now my hamstrings are as long as can be, and now I curl up. But I don't lift my hips, I just use my target muscle. So, activation. First, know what you want to do. 2, contract the antagonist. And then 3, activate properly. 4, get huge. Maik out.